a tough night? What's your initial assessment of that?
Um, Really disappointed with the first half. I thought we were passive, uncompetitive, looked lethargic, poor with the ball, so open. Just players not doing anywhere near enough. You know, you've got to do basics well, and we were second best all over the pitch. And obviously they've scored the free kick. It's a great strike, to be fair, by the lad. But they were well worthy of being ahead at half time. Obviously, we made a couple of changes at the break, and just told the players that we expect more than that. You know, you got good, honest people coming here and supporting them and paying their hard-earned money to watch, and the least that they expect and deserve is people to be putting a shift in. And second half was nothing about tactics or organisation. It was nothing other than players just putting a shift in and showing that they care as much as everybody else does. So, and in fairness to them, I thought that they did that. It became really difficult when we went down to 10 men. Just, I don't want to go on to referee, but he will go on to him too much. But he just didn't manage the flow of the game at all night. The goalkeeper took forever and a day every time the ball was off the pitch. I don't think that helped us get any kind of tempo and momentum going. And the second yellow card for Cammy, I think his common sense has got to prevail. The ball's gone 10 yards forwards. He's won the ball cleanly. Their lad, if anything, it's a foul on Cameron because their lad's kicked Cameron on the turn. And that made it really difficult for us then. But I thought the lads, they kept going. We created. I felt we were still a better team with 10 players. They always posed that threat going the other way, but we've had 2 or 3 really big chances there, and you've got to score, and we didn't, and ultimately got nothing.
Yeah, the chances weren't taken. Plus, it's still this Achilles heel of conceding soft goals at times.
Yeah, I mean, Mac has just summed it up there after the game. You know, we haven't been carved open once. You know, certainly since I came here, we don't get carved open too easily by teams. But the goals we're giving away are just a joke. I mean, the first one is a good strike, but it's a soft free kick to give away. The second one's off a set play, and it's just we have to fight tooth and nail to score goals against the opposition, and we're just giving away soft goals. And it needs addressing. It really does need addressing. And ultimately, I've been here long enough now. The buck stops for me as a manager. We are working incredibly hard, to try and bring players in that can support the players that we've got. But it's so difficult to do. But it's clear to see that we do need fresh faces, and we need additional bodies. And we'll just have to keep working hard to try and do that.
Because the 2 week enforced break, I know you've been working hard,
Yeah.
so everybody would have expected everybody to be out the traps flying today, but it just didn't happen.
No, and I just I can't look at you've got to go away and you've got to reflect, and nobody reflects more on themselves than probably I do. We've put what we feel 2 weeks of real good work into the players, and the players would probably agree if you spoke to them and asked them. And there's been a real good, positive energy around the players. We've trained well. We've looked sharp. We've looked bright. We've looked fitter. And then just didn't envisage that first half where we just, like you said, didn't come out the traps at all. And you can't start games in this league like that. If you, it's so difficult when you concede the first goal because teams, they get in and they hold on. They work hard to hold on to what they've got. They're organised and they generally pose a threat on the break, as they did tonight. And for us to come out and start so slowly, we need to look at why that was the case. But it certainly wasn't what we planned for and what we demanded.
And conceding sloppy goals, and then when chances do come as well, they're not being taken at the times when they appear.
No, they're not. And you've got to be clinical. It's really hard to create good, clear goal scoring opportunities. We've managed to create 2 or 3 there in that second half, and maybe a bit unlucky with the one with Josh Coulson's had it blocked on the line off the corner. Obviously, we scored from a corner that we've worked on quite a bit. Ponticelli's gone through 1-on-1. He's got to score. Ben's had a decent chance. So we've created opportunities, but we generally always do create chances. But when you're conceding soft goals, you're gonna lose games of football. It's simple as that.
So how do you pick the guys up now? Because you can see, obviously, there were dejected bodies at the end.
And they should be. They should be, because that first half performance, I'll stand here and defend the players all day long. If they put everything, if we give like we gave in the second half for 90 minutes and we lose, I'll come out here and I'll defend them all day long. But sometimes the manager, you can't defend inept performances, and that first 45 minutes, that's exactly what we were. We looked like a team that was feeling sorry for ourselves and weren't prepared to fight. We've got to be realistic now. We're 20 odd games into the season. We're still in the bottom four. And whilst we have got better, I believe, since I have come to the club, we're still in the bottom four. And, you know, going through the motions isn't going to get us out of that situation. We need people that are going to roll the sleeves up, battle, graft, compete, and be up for a bit of a scrap. Because if we don't start doing that, then the scrap will only get tougher. And collectively we've got a lot of reflecting, a lot of thinking to do in the next 24, 48 hours.
So you want new players, you say that, new faces, but it is difficult getting them. And you've obviously had a view now of the people that you inherited as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out watching games. I was at a game last night. Was at 2 games last week, 2 games a week before. There'll be no manager in the country watching more games than me, both live and on Y Scout. But that that don't mean you're going to get players, dropped off at your front door. It's tough, and I've said this before, but it's not for a lack of trying, and we'll just keep on working hard. We do need to bring bodies in. I'm going to have to speak with the chairman, because we do need to strengthen. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, we've got lads who have been out injured. They've now come back, and I felt that would make us stronger. Second half we showed a bit more, but first half we were just miles off it, and we need to understand why.
So on to Saturday, isn't it? Again here, the games are now, well, they're ticking away about halfway now, but it's not a dire situation, but it's one that needs to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's far from dire. We said before the game we had a terrible week, where we lost at Stourbridge, Scarborough, and Tamworth, but one good week, and the picture changes. And we hoped that this, tonight would be the start of a good week for us, and obviously it's not panned out that way. But Saturday's going to be a tough game. Warrington are a good side, good manager, very well organised. They've got goals in them, but we need to respond. We have to respond, and we have to start the game on Saturday as we ended the game today. And if we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance of winning a game of football. If we turn up and start the game like we started tonight, then we'll lose a game of football. And sometimes it's as simple as that.
Is it hard to reconcile the fact that 3 weeks ago all the things that were missing tonight were present for Scunthorpe?
Yeah, but that's your problem, right there. Is I don't want people to turn up and play well because it's Scunthorpe, and then show a lack of respect to Banbury, who were a good side on the day, and not be at the same level, because that's why we are where we are. Attitude and consistency, and your own standards and self-pride in your performance, they just weren't there today. Everybody wanted to put a shift in and be at it against Scunthorpe, because the top of the league, it's Scunthorpe and there's a big crowd on. But then you get Banbury coming here with no disrespect to them at all. They deserve to win the game tonight. But I expect the players to be the same, regardless of whether you're playing Scunthorpe or Bishop Stortford or Banbury, because the teams that are at the top of this league or in and around the playoffs are the ones that are the most consistent. You don't always have to be the best, but you've got to be one of the most consistent. Right now, we're inconsistent, and that's why ultimately we are where we are. And it's my job to either get consistency out of these players quickly, or I have to find players that will bring an aspect of consistency to the football club, because we need to get out of the situation that we're in.
That a mental thing as well, because you can't have somebody switching on for one game and off for another. That lack of professionalism.
I wouldn't say it's a lack of professionalism, because these lads, I can't fault their attitude generally and application. They come in, they work hard in training every day. They're receptive to the things that we're doing, and they're a good group of lads. But we're just short on the pitch at the minute, regardless of how good they are as people and as lads. At this moment in time, the chemistry within that group isn't enough for what we need, and I've got to find a solution, with what we have, whilst trying to find players that can come in here and just help us.
I think that was only the second start for Gabriel.
Yeah.
Impressive. He looked like he stood out a little bit more to probably than some of the others. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. I thought, and it starts with effort. We asked him to play because obviously George is suspended, and he was a big miss tonight because people like him, they set the tone. If there's a tackle, he goes flying into it. He puts the ball in good areas. He's full of energy, and he's right in the engine room. And we shouldn't be in a situation where we're reliant on an 18-year-old kid from Fleetwood to set the tone. But unfortunately, that's just where we're at the minute. But Gabby, we asked him to play in a slightly different position, a little bit deeper, to try and get on the ball, get us playing. I thought he was brave right throughout the game. Always wanted the ball, accepted responsibility, tried to make things happen. Worked really hard. But he's one of the ones that I can't kind of criticise tonight, really.
Billy injured or?
Pulled his hamstring in training yesterday, so he was going to start the game today, just to give us a bit more pace and a bit of a threat in behind, because obviously that's something that we're a little bit short of. And he pulled up in training, and he's going back to Fleetwood tonight, and he'll be assessed by them, and we'll have to just see the severity of it. Hopefully it's not too bad, but he's certainly out for the short term.
Would you have had a different starting lineup with him in?
He would have been
not lineup formation. Would you had three at the back?
No, we weren't. He was going to play higher up the pitch on the right hand side, just to give us that pace in behind down that side. Obviously, we do want to go back to the three centre halves. It's a system that the players are comfortable in. It's a system that I've used in my last two clubs, but obviously with Cliffy not being quite right. He only trained. He's obviously been out with a hamstring. He did quite a bit of running last week. He trained fully Thursday, Friday, and Monday. It was a bit of a gamble, really, putting him on at half time, because on a pitch that was getting a bit heavy, in a game that was getting stretched, particularly when we went down to 10 men, you maybe feared for that amount of load through his hamstring, but thankfully he's come through it. But I thought we did look better, gave us more natural balance. And look, I said to the players, as the manager, I accept responsibility for certain parts of what's gone on in the game there today. I set the team up in that way. Obviously playing a bit of a lopsided back four with Macca at left back. Played Macca there because I trust him. He does a job. He's ultimate professional, and he's certainly one that I know gives us everything every time he's on the pitch. But we didn't really have that opportunity to kind of play down the left-hand side, and that's something that I've got to go away and accept responsibility for, which I'm brave enough to do. But it is an area we need to we need to look at bringing people in, just to give us a little bit more than what we've got.
You look like one.
Well, you can only all but ask.
We saw before the game Robbie back out on the pitch.
Yeah.
What's the situation there? Is he somebody who's helping you, and your assistant is he just helping you, or have you asked him to help? What's the situation?
Yeah, I've asked him to come in and help us. Unfortunately, Sam's not going to be with us at the weekend, which is something I knew about in pre-season when I was obviously not here. He's got a family wedding, so he's not going to be with us. And obviously, I've got Josh Coulson, who's one of our staff. I've got John, who's goalie coach, but they're both on the pitch, and I'm a little bit lightweight in the dugout. So Backy's been our loans manager since I came in, and he's been incredibly supportive and helpful for us in terms of trying to get some of the younger players out on loan. You know, with him obviously caring so much about the club and having been here, you know, in the past, I just asked him if he'd come and give us a lift on Saturday, and if he'd come and just be around tonight, just to kind of get a bit of a feel for things. So yeah.
Okay, so just short term for the time being.
Yeah, but he's been working behind the scenes, you know, as loans manager since pretty much I came into the club, and you know, he comes to a lot of the home games, but he's obviously in the stand, but just purely because of the situation this weekend, I've just asked him to come and give us a bit of extra support in the dugout.
Okay,
I'll give you that.
All right.
He's all right.
Yeah.